Hey, Stony here with another game of Mechabellum, and this is game 2 from the weekend tournament that just happened last night. I will be an aerial specialist, and my opponent will be a cost control specialist. So in this game, I started off with sledgies and marksmen, and I'll be up against, well, with sledgies and fans. I know that I'll win against a 1v1 without the fans, so now the real question is how do I get rid of the fans? I could go with two arc lights, or I could just go with another sledgy, because I am, with being aerial specialist, I am hoping to upgrade eventually to either boats, which work really well with the sledgehammers, or I can go wasps, which again, sledgehammer, if I put mech rage on it, will be at the same speed as Wasp or around the same speed. So they both work really well. My opponent decided to go with double marksman to contest my three marksman. And he might do it because I will be spending some time killing off these fans where I don't have fans of my own. So his marksman will be shooting at my tank from the very first shot. So not too bad. So let's speed this up and let's see how turn one plays out. And as expected, my left hand side falls fairly quickly because of the double marksman shooting at my sledges. But my right hand side with the double sledges was able to clear the way. And I got a little bit lucky because the sledgehammers actually went ahead of the marksman, so the marksman were able to pick everything else off. Alright, round two. We got cards, mass produce overlord. So at this game, I wanted to try something a little different. I know I was going to go with overlords, but I wasn't sure if I wanted overlords to be my carry. So I wanted to try something that gives him a little bit of a scare with the overlord, but at the same time, going potentially later on for wasps. Because I do want to have a flanking position on one of the sides, considering most of his units are fairly slow. Let's see how that works out. So turn the first time, let's get some overlords. Let's give him a little bit of a scare and see how that works. On my opponent's side, because his cost control, so his units are 13% weaker in general. Right now, his main challenge is he is not winning the sledgehammer war because his units are 13% weaker. Even with the chaff, he is not doing too well. So he can either get more chaff or get more firepower. So in this turn, he decided to go with both. He added two marksmen, but he also added shield, which means I have to take two shots to kill his fans. I think it's a decent choice because he really wants to win the tank battle. I think it's working out for him because you notice on my right hand side, I didn't even clear his fans. In the middle, I barely cleaned out his fans, and on the left hand side, I was just finishing clearing out his fans. So at the end of the day, he did win this game. Well, not this game, this round. Okay, round three. Let's take a look at the board. Laser sight came out, and I am a big sucker for laser sight. I think it's a great item for any unit. But I did take smoke bomb because I wanted to nullify some of the power from the snipers. For my opponent, he took laser sight, which I think was fantastic. My most immediate problem with those shielded fangs. I don't think my sledgehammers is going to cut it. I needed something specialized in clearing out that slow chaff, and Stonecrawler is the unit that perfectly suited that purpose. So I bought two pairs of Stonecrawlers, put it in the middle to make sure that they both can attack 2 sets of fans. So once these sets of fans are gone, because he still hasn't bought any upgrades, so his units are still 13% weaker than me, I should be able to win the rest of the battle. We have almost the same number of snipers or marksmen. I have 1 extra set of sledgehammers, and I also have a overlord, which helps in clearing out his sledgehammers and also tanking a bit from his marksman, even though this overlord is mass produced. He did add some crawlers on this one side, which I completely neglected, and that is going to bite me in the ass. So let's see. And I'm very surprised that he still hasn't taken any armor or attack upgrades, because I feel like that would really help him with whatever he needs to do. The Stormcaller is actually doing great with the smoke, picking off not just fans but also marksmen as well. So that gives me the ability to really advance on the right hand side. I was very fortunate that 2 of my sledgehammers broke off the group and decided to engage those crawlers on their own and winning. So that prevented a tower loss, which was excellent. On the other side, though, things aren't doing too hot because these 2 marksmen, especially this one with the laser sight, was just picking everything off. Fortunately, the sledgehammers will be able to mop up before it takes all of our units out. So overall, I think this is a close round. I think I got lucky with the sledgehammer pointing down this way. And the smoke really helped as well. Decided to go with Mustangs. I did see Scorpion, so I knew he was going Scorpion. And in order to answer the Scorpion threat, I wanted to bring something a little bigger. So for this turn, because I had Mustangs, I took the attack upgrade, which worked really well for Mustangs because they fire so rapidly. The Scorpions are hiding behind here, waiting to shoot my tanks as they get closer to the range, and they will. Unfortunately, this smoke is going to cause a lot of problem for him, so I don't think this side is going to work that well. He's going to walk into the smoke and under the fire of my Stormcrawlers. This side, though, I think it's going to do very well because he's got the Scorpion for my tanks. He's got the Marksman with laser sight for my Overlord. So I needed a solution to provide a little bit more chaff. And my solution is just to get more Mustangs. Because since we have the Mustangs, and Mustangs themselves are relatively cheap, they provide the function of anti-chaff. But at the same time, because they're not ranged, they'll actually go slightly before my units, tanking a few shots from these Scorpions, while hopefully my boat will be able to take down the Scorpions. On the opponent's side, I think he eventually just added, he moved the Scorpions out of the way, hoping to catch me on the flank. Got the crawlers through the middle to catch the fire from my Stormcrawlers. It doesn't matter too much because the fans will still have to walk a little bit before my Stormcrawlers can hit them. So now it's just keeping my Stormcrawlers further back, which is not a huge deal. I am fully taking care of the problems on the corners. And once those are gone, these chaff will be joining the battle. And let's see how this round plays out. Air spec. Okay. So he was expecting me to fully commit into Overlords. Which I might have. But now that I've seen air spec, I was like, oh no, that's not what I'm going to go anymore. So in a way, he wasted his air spec. He thought I was going to commit into something that I'm not. And I only have a single Overlord. In all honesty, I think that was a mistake to get air spec because not only I have a single overlord, it's also mass produced. So I don't know why he was so cautious of that. Maybe you just thought that because it's mass produced, I'm going to make like 5 of them in 2 turns. But I still don't think he needs air spec for that. Alright, I skipped. Amp-Core would have been nice on one of the Mustangs. For me, what I wanted... Oh, just as I was saying, I totally forgot that I did actually throw down a few more Overlords. So for me, now that I'm looking at this game again, I really think that the Fortress might have been a much stronger option. Because I'm air spec, so I didn't want to waste money on Fortresses. His marksmen, they are definitely doing work. But now with the mothership, so the marksman will be focused on my Wasps. I think this is a good move because my Stormcallers are basically taking care of the only small anti-air units that they have, which are these fans up front, which means my Wasps are going to be able to get in there and do some damage. These marksmen will have to pick them off one by one, and by the time they pick off all of them, the next round of Wasps will be spawning. So it's actually not bad, as long as I can keep the pressure on with the rest of my chaff. He did decide to go with fire on 2 sets of Stormcallers, which is interesting. Because he knew that my chaff is mostly ground-based right now. Alright, let's see how this one goes. So first of all, the Stormcallers coming this way. Unfortunately, the Wasp aren't doing too well on this side, but that's okay. It created a nice buffer before my Crawlers and Mustangs come in. So now that the rest of my units come in, they're drawing aggro from the units. The rest of my Overlords did disappear under the barrage of anti-air marksmen. And that's to be expected, and that's okay. With this surviving one, it did get the tower, and with my level 2 Stormcallers, it's just mopping up everything else. Alright. Very good. So I really have 2 options here. I can go even harder into the Overlords, or I can switch it up a little bit and get something tankier. Melting Point would be a good option for him as long as he can clear what's in the air. Rhino will be a pretty good option for him as well, because I don't have a lot of hit points on the ground, so the Rhino could possibly force his way towards a tower. And I knew Rhino would be a good option, so I decided to go with Steel Balls. However, he didn't actually go with Rhino. He ended up with Arc Lights, I guess for a bit more chaff clear, which is understandable. Alright, so with the Steel Balls, I wanted to get something that will push one of his towers. The left-hand side seems to be on the stronger side, and also is where the big marksman with the laser sight is, now level 4. However, I did split them evenly, so I have 1 set of balls on the left, and 1 set of on the right. And I believe we eventually sold the one on the right, and I did, because I just wasn't too sure that's going to do the job. My number 1 priority is just to clear out those fans. If he does to get more fans, then that's fine. I did buy some Wasps, primarily just to put shield on them, so these Wasps are doubly effective to tank. These Wasps are on the flank, hoping there's not going to be any fans. I put the Steel Balls front because I am planning on selling them, and they provide a really nice distraction, for example, for the Stormcallers with fire. Alright. Stormcrawlers are killing fans. Everybody is being drawn to the middle, which is even better for my Stormcrawlers. My flanking Wasps are doing fantastic because now they've taken down the marksman and going for the tower. The marksman are still picking off my units, but not for long because once the tower goes, it's just clean up for the rest of my units. I think he will survive one more round. Oh, actually I spoke too soon, and that is game. So game number 2 of the tourney. Thanks for watching.